Hi, this is Christopher Lewis, and welcome to Dating Intelligence, the podcast where we give relationship advice from dating to marriage and everything else in between. And always with the goal of helping you to continuously be the best you at all times.
So if you're looking for real, honest information to help you navigate your relationships, we've got you covered.
We've got you covered. All right, Jamie, we got another show and another day at Sticky Paw Studios. What's up, Travis, back there?
Oh, guess what? I got my own camera today.
What?
What's good? Ladies, gentlemen, mostly ladies, what's going on? You know, Travis back here. Sorry to steal a show.
Slide into Travis's DM. We're going to put a little link right here.
Oh my God, it's so funny. All right, Travis, you're cut off for the rest of the show now. I'm kidding. All right, guys, we got another great episode. And Jamie, how are you this morning? You look lovely today.
Amazing. Thank you. I love your shirt and the color.
You. I try to keep up with your fashion all the time. You know, you're always dressed so decked out all the time and well, so I just want to keep up with you. So props to you all the time.
I don't have any of my rings on, so I feel a little naked.
Yeah, you're a little naked in
Right?
that category. I mean, you're naked all the time anyways, and most yourself, so I don't think any rings are going to make a difference. So, all right, guys, we're going to jump this one because we have an amazing guest on today. This guy is incredible, and I'm just really super excited that he came to do our show. Our guest today is a concierge performance and longevity physician specializing in human optimization and regenerative medicine. He's also a media expert and author of a book that he just came out about a year ago called The Thrive State, who has been on numerous radio and television shows. Battling through his own personal ups and downs in life, he has come out on top by changing the way he envisioned himself, contributing his gifts to humanity with vibrant health and vitality. A mission statement that he now shares with others around the world. Not only is he an incredible and inspiring doctor with the looks and wit to match, but he has made the decision to live a more authentic and purpose-driven life. Something that we hopefully strive for in our daily lives in order to achieve health, happiness, and success in whatever capacity that may mean to you. Please welcome Dr. Kien Vuu to the show.
Hey,
Kien, how are you?
This is a fun studio to be in. I mean, first of all, Travis is amazing.
He is, right?
This is the first podcast in studio appearance I had where somebody comes up with a box of goodies. This is really,
look
really
at that.
good. So
Jamie's
props to
always
you
really
guys.
good
Yeah.
with giving out gifts to the guests.
I
so
saw
appreciate
you
that.
open, and I wanted to be like, wait, it's a spicy drink. What'd you think?
Which one did he
It's
drink?
spicy, the CBD one.
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's Kill Cliff Joe Rogan.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Yeah,
well, that's
do you
a good
like
one.
or no?
It's different.
Okay.
It's different. Yeah, we'll see how I feel.
I wanted to tell you, stop.
We need him for the show, Jimmy. Don't kill him off before we get started today. All right. So, all right, and good props to Travis. Travis, you're back on air.
Oh, yeah.
We love you, Travis.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, we got an amazing episode today, and so Kien, first of all, thank you so much for being on our show, and we're
You
just
got
so
it.
excited just to get into your whole life story. So, I know that you're an amazing doctor, but let people know out there exactly who you are and what you like to do.
Well, who am I?
Yes.
I am Kien Vuu. People call me Dr. V, just for short.
Got it.
And I help people get in the Thrive State. So you ask, what is the Thrive State? Thrive State is really a state of being. It's a way of showing up in the world. It's an energy that you actually exude. And it reaches out to other people in the world, because if you want better relationships, better sex, better business, you want to be in that Thrive State because you want to be vibing in that energy. Also, that energy goes within too, because with that energy, you speak to your DNA. So you could actually control how your DNA is being expressed by living life a certain way. And if you live in the Thrive State, at the end of it, or the end result is you have optimal health, longevity, and peak performance.
Right, which is exactly why I said at the beginning of all this, I feel like everyone needs all three of those virtually, because if you're, especially in a relationship for sure, you know,
absolutely.
because I mean, if you're with a partner, I want my partner to be as long lasting as possible.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we need that. So I need them to be in optimum health all the time. You, on the other hand, I don't know. She kills them off one at a time. You're trying to kill her guest off. She kills her relationships off.
No.
9 lives.
But
Right.
is this all in your book?
That's all in the book. Yeah, I talk about, how did I come to being, this Thrive State doctor? Well, about 5 years ago, I wasn't so healthy. I was overweight. I was diabetic. I was hypertensive, which means I had high blood pressure. And I was on multiple prescription medications to be
What?
better. Me as an MD.
Right.
I got trained at UCLA, trained at the National Institutes of Health, trained at the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. And I'm not saying this to impress people. I'm
Right.
just letting people know that even with all that training, I wasn't given the tools to actually be well and healthy. And the story goes back much, much farther than that. I was actually a boat refugee to this country. I was born in Vietnam after the Vietnam War. And my parents were actually forced to flee with me when I was only a couple months old onto this refugee boat filled with 2,000 other refugees. We were packed like sardines. And I was the only infant to survive, and spent another 3 months in a Philippine refugee camp, and then we were sponsored to America by a Catholic church.
And how long? How long
No.
at the camp before the sponsorship happened?
3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Where in the Philippines?
Just right outside Manila Bay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, kudos to your parents, first of all. I mean, the only infant to survive. I mean, and you were like an
Wow, that's
infant in 3.
incredible.
I mean, that's
Yeah, I have a
all-
17-month-old now,
Crazy.
and I'm thinking, oh my God, how do I even take her on this boat, on this journey? So
Right.
the amount of courage that that my parents went through to give me a better future. Wow, I look back and getting a little choked up
Yeah,
right now too.
right.
And you don't realize this until you become a parent, you know? Yeah.
Exactly. I was gonna
Yeah.
say you probably couldn't understand the multitude of that
Yeah.
until you
Are a
had a
parent.
child of your
Yeah.
own.
Yo, exactly. I mean,
And then just
go.
even like taking care of them, you're like, holy shit, and they had nothing.
They had absolutely nothing. I look back and I ask myself, do I have enough of the cojones that my parents had going through that thing? And I didn't realize this until certainly as I got older, but to a different level now that I have a kid. But when I came here, you would think, okay, well, you're the only kid to survive. You must feel very grateful that you're here in the land of the free. And that was not the case. I would remember watching TV and I would see the kids on TV. I would see the families on TVs with the ticket fence. And I'm like, you know what? This is not how we're living. We're living in the small 1-bedroom apartment. There's 9 of us in here. None of this is right. My parents don't speak proper English. And then I remember being bused to a more affluent area for school. And I was just constantly being teased for like the stinky food my mom sent me to
Right.
school with, for the holes in my hand-me-down clothes. Go back to your home country, Chinky. I got that a lot. And I just remember, I wanted to be anyone but myself. I felt like I wasn't worthy in many ways. I felt like I was not enough. And I feel like, telling people that, people could resonate. They might not have been
Yeah,
an immigrant
I
or a
do,
refugee,
yeah.
but they resonate. And if we walk around actually with that energy, some of us actually will go through life trying to make themselves feel better by trying to attain things. And that was me. I wanted to achieve success. I felt like I was not worthy. And so, when I went down the medicine route, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to train at the top institutions. I'm going to go to the hospital and become the top of the hospital. I'm going to make all this money, all this success. And I was just chasing. And so many of us do this. And it reminds me, I was really living out a quote from the Dalai Lama when he said what he found most interesting about humanity. He said, man, because he would sacrifice his health in order to make money and then sacrifice his money to recuperate his health. And that's what happens when we don't know who we are.
Right.
And we're in the matrix and we're just living this life trying to be something or something we're not. And all that stress just built up. I wasn't sleeping well. Never really learned how to eat very well in medical school. Hey, I went to medical school. I didn't know how to eat very well. And just had this really poor lifestyle. And like I said, how you show up in the world actually speaks to your genes. So what I was telling my genes is you're living a very stressed out life. And therefore, there was inflammation that was going on in my body. My immune system probably dropped. And therefore, I got chronic disease, diabetes, high blood pressure. And I was overweight.
Okay.
And when I finally said, you know what, I'm not going to live life this way anymore. I'm going to figure out how to actually be well. I was able to reverse all those things in 6 months. And here's the other thing. When you learn to reverse all these things, you're not only just reversing disease, but you put yourself in a position where you are vibing at a high frequency.
Yeah.
You are just loving life. You got more energy. You're smarter. You're stronger. And the sex is better. Everything is better
Right.
when you live in a state that is true to you.
Well, I have a question then off of everything you just said. So I'm gonna
Yes.
backtrack with I'm gonna take you on this journey of everything you just said. So I hear that at a very young age for you, like you had this strength and willpower no matter what. That's already instilled in you. It's in your being because it's just your personality. I can tell you have this amazing energy you always have, probably from a little kid. All the things that you were striving for has made you who you are today. You just didn't have the right tools and theory. I mean, yes, your tool was I don't want to be here. I want this.
Yeah.
Is it the right way? Probably not in certain situations. Some people maybe say us, some people say no.
Yeah.
But at the time, I guess what I'm going to ask you is that, were you happy through any of this time? I mean, I know you were achieving all this stuff, but I'm hearing I'm just saying with the weight and everything, was that a focal point or were you just kind of just in the space of just trying to get to those levels that you're talking about? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I thought maybe I was happy because
Okay.
I would achieve the next thing and I'm like, man, I got
Right.
it. But that effect was very fleeting, and I'm just
Okay.
thinking, okay, well, why am I not happy yet? Oh, I still haven't achieved that next thing yet. So you get there, and you're like, okay, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Why am I still not happy? Oh, so and still has that, and then that person has that. So I still haven't gotten it yet. This is
Right.
why I'm not happy, right? And the cycle just keeps repeating itself until one day you're like, oh my God, you can just run down this rabbit hole of not being fulfilled, particularly if you're waiting for something on the outside to fulfill you.
That's correct.
And the magic of this whole journey thing is recognizing that everything that you have that you want is actually within here. So it's not doing the work out here, it's actually doing the work in here.
Right.
And you can be successful and wealthy and have joy no matter what the circumstances are out there. If you train yourself to do that, boom, you're in the thrive state.
How did you get in that state?
Yeah.
Lots of struggle.
Okay.
Lots of struggle and falling down and doing a lot of personal work. I've worked with shamans. I've worked with people in the personal development space, like really big people in the personal development space. And you just open your eyes to more and more things. And what I would say is over time, you just recognize that, oh my God, I'm sort of living in the matrix, right? You're living in a life where other people, whether it be, parents, society, culture, are dictating the rules in which, the life that you should live. And you feel like if you're following those rules, you're really not following your own path.
Right.
And then with the struggles that come at you, you just, every time you walk through the other side of the struggle, you find yourself a little bit more empowered, and you're finding yourself, oh my God, I'm recognizing more of this matrix I'm living in. And so over time, you're just pulling yourself out of the matrix.
Right. But you said, sorry, he said something right though. You have to be aware of those moments though, and that's the hard part right there.
So has it been through experience and struggle for you that got you to this point?
Absolutely. And I think that is going to be the greatest teacher. As much as sometimes I'd love to tell people that waking up one day, you can make better choices now. They don't really get it until they get smacked in the face with something, whether it be a diagnosis of cancer, whether, your relationship is falling apart, something like that, will wake people up. So they don't have to, necessarily do that.
Okay.
But often I find that that's the catalyst and the stimulus for people to make, transformation occur much faster.
I just had this conversation with my daughter yesterday because she went to school, she got her degree. She didn't like what she was doing. And I said, it's okay. You're not stuck in that profession.
Right.
Let's transition. Let's redirect and find something else. So she found something else, loved it.
Yeah, that's great.
But the money wasn't there. It's okay. Find something else. You have to keep trying until you get in the space where you're like, this is it, and it'll click for you. And she's like, well, how do I know and how do I get there? I can't tell you how, but it's a feeling and you'll know once you get there, but you have to just keep trying. So now she passed like her insurance test and she's doing insurance. So I'm like, you just have to keep putting yourself out there and be open to the possibility.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to really. I
Help
think
her in that, you're saying, or
yeah. So what would you?
Well, what I
suggest?
say, yeah,
Yes.
I would probably say that, we're just going to go through life trying to remember. I look at my 17-month-old daughter, like right now, she is just so present. She's playing around with things. She's falling. She's getting up, and she's not making anything mean anything. And I feel like at that stage, we know what we like, and we just go after the things that are lighting us up and making us happy. And then as you get a little bit older, you start to live in the matrix. You start to get all these messages, traumas, hurts, betrayals, things like that. And that puts us in this mode where we're afraid to do things, and we're constantly in our head, and in your head, you're dead. You're not really, just flowing. I would probably say that throughout life, as you're experiencing things, the things that just light you up, the things where just the emotions are just like, oh my God, I'm just feeling so free doing this thing. And you're not thinking about the money just yet. I think that should be a clue to what your soul is telling you.
Yeah.
And the more you're in that space, the more you're less attached to people, places, money, and the outcome of things. You start to just vibe in a place where people are like, oh my God, I want what this person has. And whatever you're doing at that point, if you're helping somebody do that, that's when the money's going to start coming in.
I say that all the
Yep.
time, but people have a hard time understanding that concept because then they go back to, I can't do that. I have to pay like my
Yeah.
rent. I have this and that. So I don't know how, because
Well-
I say like I've never had I've never had a job.
Yeah.
Yes. Because any and everything I've done, I've actually loved doing, and the money comes.
Yeah.
But to get people to that state and have them like understand it, I think a lot of people just don't have it in them. And
I'm going to share something that that I think people would probably resonate with.
Okay.
Like, 5-6 years ago, I had a multi-million-dollar house in the over in Silver Lake that overlooked the Hollywood sign and the lake. Had my convertible Porsche. And I realized at that stage, I wasn't really that happy. Right. And I was working my butt off to keep all this. I was just throwing tons of parties, and I just realized I was just cleaning this house up by
Yeah.
myself. And it felt very empty. When I realized that I needed to pivot away from full-time medicine, I basically spent a lot on coaches, a lot on personal development, and I wasn't, out there working. And then I moved into my parents' house, and that house actually has security bars all around the house. The yard is like dead, and there's 2 liquor stores at the end of the block. And it took a long time in that space. I was like, oh my God, like I really gave up a lot. But during that time, I also realized, my God, my identity was tied to those things. And it takes a long time, and I would feel ashamed inviting people over to my parents' place. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to
Right.
be seen in this light. But when you make that pivot, when you make that shift, that's going to happen at first. And here's the thing, like for me, I think it was a gift to make me just start to build my own worth, build a sense of happiness devoid of these outside things. And that started to change. And when I started to do more of the things I love, like being in media and doing things like that, that started to light me up. And then pretty soon now I'm getting paid quite a bit of money doing
great.
keynote speaking and brand sponsorships and things like that. So it's going to require maybe a death of yourself, to a certain degree. I mean, don't get to the point where, you can't afford good food
Yeah.
and have shelter over your head, but devoid of that, like once you get to the thing that just lights you up, where you're just like feeling like you're really, really living, once you get to that point, it's just going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
do you still have your down days though,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
where you're like, "Ugh, I don't want to like do life today"?
Absolutely. But at any point, this is why it's so important to kind of to build the muscle of awareness. And there's a couple points every day where I call it the 5x5 to thrive. For 5 times a day, just for 5 minutes, I'm just breathing and I'm just noticing what's actually happening right now.
Okay.
Because if I have a day where I let outside circumstances dictate how I feel, then I am just going to be a victim of what's happening on the outside, which is why my morning routine is super important too. When I get up and I put myself in a state, I dictate, hey, I'm going to control how I'm going to show up every single day. So if I have a down moment, I could always pause and ask myself, all right, where's this coming from?
Right.
Okay, is that circumstance happening? Why am I feeling so down? Is it because I'm making it mean something that it's not? So have that awareness. And then, in that space, I act. One is awareness, where I, just really assess the situation. C is choice, where I choose how I want to show up. I choose the intention. I want to show up no matter what, with love, with gratitude, with playfulness. And then finally, from that place, I take action. And I take a new action. So I basically take, if you're having a bad day, you're making things mean something.
Yeah. Right.
And here's a beautiful thing. If you start to shift the meaning of what those things mean, it'll shift the way you feel too. And if you shift the way you feel, then all of a sudden you're a different person.
So true.
Yeah, I like you saying that. So in other words, you're changing up the scenery. Like you're recognizing you're changing up the scene.
Yeah.
Which is great. Which
That's power.
See, so this is something like. By the way, I'm so happy you're here because it's like I'm listening. It's like I feel like I always have all the tools. Like I have the energy, I have the thrive, I have the ambition, I have this and that. But I get in my own way. And this is why when I wrote in your intro, like whatever capacity what success means to you, because your parents, for them getting sitting over here, living in that house, that's success to them. They've already have a win.
Yeah.
You know, myself, probably same for you. Like, I love being self-employed. I like making my own way, but I like having different fires in the hat. You know, I also like the fact that you're saying when someone goes, well, I have to do this, this, and this. The first thing I always tell them is like, so do the other stuff on the side and just, until you make it work.
Yeah.
You know, you can do successful stuff, do your job, but if you really want to chase something, you got to do it on the side. You know, make it work and do both. Like, keep yourself busy in that
I
sense.
say you don't. And
Well-
9 times out of 10, we get in our own way.
No, I understand that, but I mean the fact that someone who's like so hardcore objecting to the fact that they cannot leave this job, you know, they cannot do this.
Yeah.
It's like, you can start on the
Yes.
side. You can start slowly and see how that works. And once it gets to a point, then you can feel more confident to leave your other stuff. But some people don't have that in them like we do. You know, like for you, like you.
Yeah, some people might just be freaked out because of their matrix.
Exactly.
They associate, you know, not regular work and not maybe a certain amount in their bank account as them freaking out.
Exactly.
And, you know, it might take somebody like that, you know, a smaller step, you know.
And they need
before
that.
can
They
go
need that.
there, you know?
No, it's the same as like you said. I appreciate the fact that, you know, when you knew, like one of the things that you've said already, what I appreciate is the fact that even though you didn't know it, but at least you went to seek out the gurus, the this and that to help you get better. You know, like, so that's already a win for you. So even though that's why I was asking you at the beginning if you were happy because of the way you look, but you made a change, and the change was you were seeking something, but at least you follow through. That's the beauty of you. You follow through, and that's the most important things out here, guys. If you listen, you have to follow through. What Dr. Vuu is saying is that if you're going to do something, do it well. And one thing about getting, another thing too, about getting in that state of like depression or whatever, or just sadness, I can't get out of that. But I know that about me, and I don't change up the scenery. I allow myself to relish in that, and I go, you know what? Tomorrow when you wake up, it's going to be a new day. Get over it. Yeah. You know. So once I feel that thing of going, God, I call it my moodiness. I'm feeling moody, and I go, oh well, I know I'm moody. Stay in it. You know, and I know, but I assess and I think about what it is, like you were saying, what to do. But I also know that when the next morning hits, I'm always in a better space because I allow that. I soak it up and feel that versus trying to avoid it.
That is so key. And
I love that too.
resistance will give you, what's the word? If you try to resist it, the more it's going to stick around.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you try to block it,
Right.
then in your head, you're just like, how do I escape this?
Right. Like you're
And it's
putting
not
it in a
gonna leave.
box,
Yeah.
in
The
theory.
fact that you let it just come and you let those feelings just kind of sink in, and you're there, and you know that there's going to
And
be a
you're
new day.
present.
Oh, it
in
knocks
those-
me out,
and the
Dr. Vuu.
feels.
It knocks
Yeah.
me out. I'm like,
Yeah.
like, oh my God. It does. But then I go, you know what? The next day I know I'm always going to be better because I know that I'm going to at least soak it in. Why am I in this way? You know, and I wish I could be, but I want to be that person to be able to change it up. But I don't know if that's going to take practice.
Do your funks last more than a day?
No, never.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Because
great.
I see some people that are literally in it for
Yeah.
days and weeks.
No,
and that's difficult for me to be around.
Right.
So I'm like, fuck, every day brings like a new set of feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can just make it through the day, the sun's coming up tomorrow. And we choose our feelings. So to choose to stay in that space for like weeks on end.
No, I have to get over myself. Watch, I hope
Yeah.
these people get over themselves. I know you probably like, get over yourself. You know, like,
I
get
do
over-
that with my
Yeah.
girls, you know, because having
Yeah.
girls, sometimes they're a little moody. So I'm like, it's okay. Like, feel the feels. Tomorrow's a new day. Like, just sometimes we just need to get through that minute, that hour.
Yeah. I voice it. I literally voice go. I tell people, watch out. I'm moody right now. I go, but I'll be okay tomorrow. And I literally tell people that because once again, and with the energy you're talking about, it does vibrate to other people. And
Absolutely.
people look to me all the time going, wow, your energy is so infectious. And I love that. I always make sure that's a thing. That's one of my biggest strengths. And I want that to exude that way.
Yeah.
But when I'm moody, it just gets all sucked in. And I'm just like, I don't want to be talked to. I don't want to be bothered. But I let people know right away because I know that I'm in a funk.
Don't
So-
look at me.
Yeah, she's probably gotten once before as well from me.
Yeah, I just know. I just let him be in his little space and I rock out to my music and
Right.
stare at him every once in
Yeah.
a while. Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by our partnership with Athletic Greens.
All right, so Jamie, you know I'm a tennis pro, right?
Yep.
So I'm on court up to 10 hours a day, and I don't really get the nutrition and vitamins that I need throughout the day. So I've always been looking for this multivitamin that I've wanted to use, and I can't find anything out there until I discovered AG1 from Athletic Greens. It has 75 vitamins and minerals and probiotic stuff in there that I need to get me energized through the day. It helps me to sleep better. It also helps me recover easier, and it's just quite frankly good for your healthy lifestyle. And if you have a keto diet, gluten-free or dairy-free. It just works. So I'm a fan of this.
And it's 1 scoop in a cup a day.
One scoop in a cup a day. I put in my water bottle all the time.
Do you like the way it tastes?
I do like the way it tastes. Sometimes add a little bit of apple juice, but I love it.
So now for our audience out there, to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/dateintel. Again, that's athleticgreens/dateintel to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Trust me, guys, you're going to love this vitamin pack. It's easy with just 1 scoop a day in your water, and you're good to go.
Love it.
So you're on to something here. So adding that on now, and we're going to get into our subject matter, but how do you put that in the medical state now? For you being the optimization thing that you do, how do you translate that into medical, like so people can get that side of it as well?
Well, so I want people to know here, the thing I didn't learn in medical school was actually how to be well. And I'm going to teach people basically how to become their own doctor and their own healer in a minute.
Okay.
You know, if you read the book Thrive State, there are basically 7 major things, 7 major areas in your life that actually speak to your DNA. Sleep, nutrition, movement, stress and emotional mastery, your thoughts, relationships, and a sense of purpose. All those things translates to biochemical changes and hormones in your body and growth factors, and they speak to your DNA. So if you can audit, if anything in your life is off, your mood is off, your sleep is off, you've got a little too much weight, you know, anything in your life is off, like, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, they're all connected. You can audit your life in each one of those 7 areas and address those things. And here's a cool thing. If like your emotions were off, okay, well, if you sleep, if you just fix your sleep, all of a sudden your emotions will be better. And everything kind of is energetically connected. So if you fix one thing, the other thing's going to get better. And it'll make it a lot easier to get to those other 7 things. So from a medical standpoint, most of the people that work with me at a concierge level now, most of them are basically burnt out CEOs, actors, or really high performers.
Yeah.
They were just like me. They have reached success and found that success didn't make them happy, but that success also made them sick.
Right.
And so I address those 7 lifestyle factors first. And here's the thing. These things are free. So people who are out there who want to reach optimal health, longevity, and peak performance, this stuff is free. They tend to be a little bit older too. So once we get their lifestyle down, if they're still maybe a little deficient in some of their hormones, that's where I'll come in and optimize their hormones. I'll put them on, you know, these things called peptides as well, which is, you know, part of the anti-aging and performance space. And I'll get them on right supplementation. But with all of that together, oh my God, I mean, people are just, you know, shutting off the wave. They got more energy, they got more stamina, they've got more oomph.
So what
to
about
approach life.
you mentioned sleep, and I always, I'm huge on my sleep. It's actually sleep and hydration are my 2 things, but sometimes I struggle like getting to sleep, but I don't want to take anything to help me sleep. And then once I get to the point where it's like 2 in the morning and I know I have to be up at 6, that's when I'm like, do I take a Tylenol PM? Like, what do I do? Why am I not sleeping?
Okay, a couple things. What happens on those evenings where you can't fall asleep?
I'm tired and exhausted, and I feel like right when I get in bed, I'm going to crash out and sleep so good. And then it's like 2 hours later, and I'm like, why am I not falling asleed?
You're not DMing other guys
And
and stuff?
I'll try and
Is that
focus.
what's going on?
Shut the hell up. I'm like, do I need to masturbate? No, I'm just kidding. So I'll visualize, work on my breath. And then sometimes I can get, like, you know, when you like work on your breath work, sometimes you feel it's like an elevated state where you get like goosebumps. So I'm like almost there, and I'm thinking I'm gonna fall asleep, and then I'm up again.
Yeah, here's a problem with it. When you're trying to go to sleep, it brings about this anxiety. You know?
Okay.
So if you can't fall asleep for a while, particularly when you're in bed, leave the bedroom.
Get up.
You know, get up, go outside, go into a different room, and then do your breathing over there.
I
Because
love that.
Yeah, because that's one of those things. If you're trying to go to sleep, you bring about this anxiety, like particularly, oh my God, it's 2 o'clock. I have to be up at 6 o'clock. I'm not sleeping yet. What the F, right? So it's important to leave the room and then get yourself in a relaxed state. Maybe do some journaling there, doing some breath work during that space, or reading something that's not going to be, extra stimulating, and don't do other stimulating things necessarily, unless it relaxes you afterwards.
So I love that. I would probably, you know what? I think that's a wonderful idea. Maybe like get outside, just feel the air. Or, but getting out of the room. I think that's a great idea.
It's almost like, so you're saying the time spent lying in bed, you might as well get up and spend
move
it doing
around.
it.
Because then it's like,
that's a really good idea.
I look at the clock, which I don't have clocks anywhere in my house except for like on the microwave and then my phone. And I'm like, holy shit, it's 2:00.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, right when you look, that's when, it makes things worse, because every time you look, it's going to give you some stress.
Right.
Yep.
It's going to raise your heart rate, and it's going to dump a little cortisol in there, and that's going to keep you up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to do like sauna too at night, like that. Just sit in the sauna for like 20 minutes, and then sometimes I feel like that will.
But do you do that before
help.
your bed, like before
bed?
bedtime?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I'll hit the gym, and my kids make fun of me. They're like, "Did you even work out?" And I'm like, "I sat in the sauna for 20 minutes." And then sometimes I'll sleep better.
No,
Just
100%.
something,
I
like,
mean,
simple
saunas
like
are
that.
great. I mean, try to build a routine. One of the best things you can do for your sleep and actually overall health in general is to go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day, including the weekend.
Yeah.
What about someone like me that's constantly traveling and in different time zones?
Yeah, you just need to, plan accordingly,
Okay.
like how you're going to do that. And sometimes it's important to arrive maybe like a day before whatever you need to do, and then also spend some time when you get back to get reacclimated and
what I
have
do.
a plan.
We were just talking about that on another podcast episode. She does that, which is good.
Yeah,
so.
my clients will fly me in, and I'm like, and then, so I'm going back 3 hours, and then they want me to be up and ready to go by 8.
Yeah.
And so I say no. I said, you either need to fly me out a day before or I'll be in at noon, because my sleep's really important to me.
There you go.
If I'm going to show up.
Give your boundaries. And,
Yes.
and absolutely, they want the best of you. And so they should understand.
So when you don't have the time, let's say, obviously if you're out or something or traveling
Yeah.
in these sense, and you have to do a quick fix in that theory, what do you do for sleep then though? You just kind of just put yourself to bed and just try to make it better the next night?
Wait, say again?
Let's
In
say
what situation?
like let's say you just flew into town. Okay, you have an event you have to go to, like, because I know you have to, and I know that you do it a lot as well, Kien. So, but you just that night's not going to be a good night's sleep. The night you're going to be up a little bit later. You can't get up. You might want to sleep a little bit longer. Do you just fix it the next night?
Yeah. So at that point, I always try to, get myself in the zone, to that time zone, wherever
Okay.
I'm flying into.
Yeah.
One of the things that's sometimes helpful is taking some melatonin
Yes.
during the time. Like, for example, if you're going to be flying in, like whenever it's going to be nighttime
Okay.
over there, take some melatonin at that time, because normally melatonin is increased during nighttime wherever we're at. So that'll help your circadian rhythm,
Okay.
is taking that ahead of time to prime your body to that new time zone.
Okay. All right, that's a good one.
You talk a lot about changing like inside. Oh, first of all, changing like inside. Do you currently still have diabetes?
No.
Yeah, he's all
What?
gluten-free.
Oh.
Yeah, which is great.
It can be
6 months
reversed,
time,
ladies
you
and
said.
gentlemen. Diabetes
Yeah.
can be reversed. A lot of these chronic conditions are mainly lifestyle conditions.
I believe that. Have you read Joe Dispenza at all?
Oh, yeah. I've done Superhuman, breaking the habit of being yourself.
Yes.
That's what it is. When you're
Yes.
breaking out of the matrix, the habit is really the matrix.
Yeah.
You become this person, not consciously. You become this person because maybe you were hurt. We normally take those things in a lot more when we're kids. So we become something where we need to overcompensate for something. Like, for example, when I was an immigrant, feeling not worthy and not enough, I constantly needed to, achieve or, get something outside of myself to feel better about myself. So this successful drive was just trying to run away from that pain. And so I needed to break that habit. I needed to break all those rules that I put upon myself.
Right. Which is not easy, because it's like there's like layers and layers that are there.
No, we're constantly peeling the onion. Like
Mm-hmm.
I find myself constantly evolving. I'm in a relationship that forces me to grow every single day. Yeah.
No, that's for sure.
Are you currently in a relationship?
Yeah, I'm engaged. We have a
Congratulations.
17-month-old daughter
Yeah.
together. I've got a beautiful bonus daughter as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
And it's ugly.
Yeah, it's
But
not
I'm
pretty.
growing.
All right, so then this is going to segue into the topic
Yes.
choice, guys. All right, so guys, we have Dr. Kien Vuu on the show, Dr. Vuu, as he likes to be called. He's a great guest. Thank you for being here. This guy knows his stuff. So today's episode title is called Wait For Me, WEIGHT. Okay, so this is about being in a relationship. How do you monitor fitness and health? Being in a relationship, dealing with fitness and healthy choices, getting your partner on board, or making sure that they stay on the right path in order to give yourself longevity to share a full and enriched life together. So I know being in a relationship now, you being in one, being engaged, it's a journey now. You guys are on a journey, and like you meet someone at a certain time. Obviously, you know, if we met or whatever like that, we look a certain way, we feel a certain way, we do things together. But then as time goes on, like you said, everybody gets in that cycle, and we kind of lose our way a little bit. Whether it be gaining weight with the stress, things like that. Now your partner and you are maybe at opposite ends, and you want to be able to come back and help your partner or yourself for that matter. So how do we help people to get through this now? And because I want people to be, if you're together, you know, we all want some sense of longevity and life together, whether it be a year or two, or hopefully a little bit more. I want to try to get to at least maybe 25 or 30 somewhere down the road. You know, but we know that life's life. So what do you think on that?
Well, one, communication is so important because not only is that, you know, one of those 7 things that we talked about is relationships and keeping the relationship healthy, but communication is going to be key to access, like letting them know what's important to you and getting on the same page. So if, you know, having optimal health, peak performance, and longevity is important to you, you know, I think it's important to share that with your partner and see if they're on board. Not force it upon them, but see if you can enroll them in wanting that too. Because who wouldn't want that? Because you're better for your family, you're better for your relationships, you're better at work when you've got all these things. So, but it's necessary to have that conversation and to have them buy in.
Right. Okay.
And if they're not going to buy in for themselves first, at least, you know, they should respect that that's what you want for yourself.
Yes.
And then come up with a plan as to how you can best support each other through that. But you know, and it's going to require some changes. It might require, you know, removing some foods from the kitchen together, and
I just
really
lock
getting on the
mine
same
up. That's what
page,
I do.
you know?
I lock it up. So, you know, I'm sure we all do. I'm sure everybody's got the little piece of advice. I know you probably don't anymore, but I know it's like my girlfriend, you know, super healthy doctor's on. She's like, why do you bring the junk in the house? I'm like, I like my sugar and I like my salt, but it's minimal. It's not like it's like a lot, so that's okay. But I put it in a space where she can't see it. Yeah, pretty much way up high is what I do. So, but I know it's like, but we're you're going off what you're saying. It's like, guys, you know, you want to be a team, and that's the best thing. Communication's key. You want to be a team, and if, quite frankly, if someone kept telling me you need to do this, you need to do that for the benefit of my health, I'm listening. You know, I'm not going to deny them and be like, oh, don't tell me what to do, da da da. But, you know, but I also feel like you got to probably slowly acclimate them into it.
Absolutely. I think the key is, and again, I'm learning as I go.
Right.
The key is really, you know, speak for yourself and your own feelings, and don't make judgments on them and force them into, seeing things your way necessarily. And so I think, you know yourself, and you should, you know, have boundaries. In keeping up with your self-care and you know, wanting to live from a place that will serve your greatest self, and it's okay to communicate that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. Jamie, what
And
do you think?
how long have you guys been together?
We've been together for about 3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are in it then. That's being in it.
We're
engaged and in it and everything. That's 3 years.
we're in it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I tell people it's messy. Like, you know,
Year
we're
and
just.
year and a half in, then she got pregnant, correct?
Yeah. We had our daughter's name is Covita. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
No, her name is Kaya, but she was a COVID baby. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. No, but continue with the messy though. You said it's messy. You were going to say something.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, just today we had lunch, and you know, I got the snap from her. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's messy because we come in and we could still, you know, be in that autopilot matrix mode, and you know, we got to understand that about our partners sometimes, that we've got these habits sometimes that aren't conducive to a healthy relationship, and just to be a little bit more aware of those things, because you know, our families, our environments, what we grew up in, help us, you know, create, you know, who we are. You know, sometimes that not
the best way.
Not the best for
Exactly.
relationships, and being able to recognize that as a habit and recognizing you have a choice outside of that. And again, what's helpful is that tactical pause, like, oh, I just did this. Oh, I reacted.
Right.
Can I pause and can I have the grace if somebody, you know, if I get snapped at? You know, it doesn't feel very good to be somebody's punching bag, but can I have the grace? Oh, okay, that's really not her. That's not the real her.
Right.
You know? why did that happen? Is there something that I did that potentially contributed to that? And if so, how can I best be there for her? Because I notice the worst parts of us that show up in relationships are the parts that aren't healed yet, is that inner child that's hurt. And so can we recognize that in each other,
Right.
and not be the other inner child and have two inner children basically
Right.
like fighting against each other. And so sometimes that happens. That's good, because if you can see that happen and go, oh my God, we just had our inner children fight, didn't we?
Right.
Oh, okay. You have some awareness.
See, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you guys can do that. And that's a big deal of communication
Yeah.
right there.
That
you can call it
is,
out. Mhm.
yeah, but that's the work. And
Right.
it's ugly, but it's also beautiful at the same time.
I call it the beautiful mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the name
That's
of that.
exactly what
Yeah.
it is.
Do you and off of that, do you basically do you guys have to record in set times? You know, like because our life, once again, we can go on autopilot. Do you have to physically say, hey, we need to physically take some time out, let's put it on a date, put it on the calendar, to make it work that way as
I
well?
think the calendar is going to be very helpful.
Okay.
And we've talked about, getting things on the calendar, and, we just forget about it. So
Yeah. Okay.
it is very important, because the things that we put in the calendar that we stick to, we're like, oh my God, I'm so glad we were intentional. But but the whole thing is making sure you follow through on your calendar.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what about getting time with your partner without the kids? Is that difficult for you guys?
No, we've got, my parents around. We also have a nanny. And so,
Okay.
but
That helps a
that's
lot.
so important, just
much.
having time for the two of you guys.
For the first 20 years, that helps a lot, Kien.
I always say, you want to put your relationship to the test, have a freaking baby.
Yeah, right. Oh my God.
It
it's a thing.
intensifies everything. You lack in sleep.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I have a friend that's just had a baby, and the whole friend group that this guy is in, besides me, no one else has kids, and so he's just like flipping out, going, "Dude, I need you, right?" Because I told him from day one, I go, "If you need me, just call me for anything." So he calls every now and goes, "Dude, what do you do in this situation?" I go, "Just be, just be yourself, be fine. It'll be good. You'll get through it." And so the next he goes, "Yeah, you're right. It was good," because everybody thinks there's a template, and there's no template for this,
And every child's different.
Always
So the way you
different.
discipline one is not going to be
Yeah.
the way you discipline the other.
Right. Yeah. Well,
So-
as long as you get a baby that sleeps through the night, yours does that.
She'll get up every now and
Okay.
then, but I think probably compared to some horror stories I heard from other people, we're
In a good
we're getting
space.
by
You're in a
pretty
good
well.
space.
Good. So good.
What are your thoughts and views on like COVID in general? Like I know he was like, oh shit. And you don't have to answer because I know it's definitely controversial with a lot of doctors, but what are because it seems like you're healthy,
Absolutely.
the vaccine pro or?
I'm pro-vaccine. Is it the be-all, end-all? No.
Right.
I think some people overlook the fact that they are in so much more in control of their health than they think. If you focus on these 7 things, I mean, a lot of people are going at, hey, you're not even focusing on actually, having an optimal immune system, right? And focusing on those 7 things will give you that optimal immune system. If you are still eating like crap and you're overweight, that's when COVID's going to be, most susceptible to you.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's going to offer a layer of protection, and there are some side effects associated with the vaccine. And I still work part-time at hospital, so we were mandated to do so. I believe in vaccines. Our children are vaccinated as well, but I think it is not again a panacea of, hey, you're vaccinated, you're all good. I mean, we're vaccinated. And I like to say that I was somebody that never caught COVID. Just last week, or just a couple of weeks ago, the entire family got COVID.
It hits.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
So even vaccinated, you still got COVID.
Yeah. So it's not a be-all, end-all. It
Right.
will offer some protection. And living your life a certain way is also going to offer protection. And I think that's probably a little bit more important than just, okay, let's just get the vaccine and forget about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my daughter's, she just got accepted into nursing school, but she didn't want to get the vaccine, but she has to have it to start nursing school. So I'm like, I don't.
Yeah. It's definitely, out for certainly a lot of debate, there's a lot of people who have gotten COVID naturally and they want to participate in things. And I think there's natural immunity. Like you're somewhat vaccinated
Yep.
against the real thing,
She got COVID,
Yeah.
so that's why she's like, I just don't
Yeah,
want the vaccine. Like I've already
Yeah.
had COVID.
Yeah, I mean, that's all a institutional thing. And, I got to say, I'm going to respect each institution for having their own. But a lot of times it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like why some
Yeah.
people mandate this and do that. I don't believe in mandates.
I'm the same
You
way.
know, I don't believe
Yeah.
in mandates. I think people should really have the choice of what they
Yeah.
do to their body.
And I'm like, I feel what works for one isn't necessarily going to work for all.
yeah.
So we have to be in charge of our own health and well-being and advocate on our own behalf. But
Absolutely.
there are institutions and people that don't necessarily respect that, or they're
Right.
not okay with that.
No,
So
certainly.
at that point, she needs to make a decision. Like, are you going to redirect career, or what are you going to do? Like, I can't make that choice for you.
But that's the thing. Everyone needs to make their own decisions. So,
Yeah.
and that their decision is their decision. It should never really affect, like you said, mandating shouldn't affect the whole, us as a whole. I feel
Right.
like everybody needs to make their own choice and decisions with certain things as well. So I agree with that. All right. So we're going to jump into this, though, because I want to jump in with you. So, from a physician side of this.
Yeah.
So I've recently heard some stories about some friends, and I'm thinking of optimum health, optimum peak performance, and regeneration, all that stuff. I agree with what you're saying about if you follow certain guidelines, you can change up the story inside of your body. You know, as long as you follow and do things to make you better. But do you believe in that? Here's a funny one. Not really funny, it's serious, but I'm just laughing because it's so freaking, it's scary. Do you believe that when your time is up, your time is up? No matter what you do in life, to like you're in the optimum health, whatever you're doing, everything right to keep yourself in a certain way. Things just happen. Because like for instance, there's a story.
Are you
of one
talking about cancer?
well, yes, cancer and just people just like, I have a friend that's recently had a stroke. He was an optimum, he's only 49.
Wow.
Just had a stroke. He was walking and he says, I'm not feeling when I got home, and fell on the floor and had a seizure. And now he has a stroke. So it's that thing of like saying that you just don't know. We think we're doing everything right to keep ourselves in tip top shape. If we're going that path, I'm not saying this guy was obese, nothing like that. There are certain things that, we can be doing better. But when you're trying to do everything right,
Yeah.
is your time up when it's time up? You know what I mean?
We definitely control the trajectory, path, and slope of how we age.
Okay.
Based on how we show up in the world. There's no foolproof way that's going to prevent, do everything right and still not get X. You are just bringing down the odds of something bad
Okay.
happening to you.
Okay.
And if you don't live life that way, you're just increasing the odds that you're going to age faster and probably have some kind of chronic illness.
Okay.
So you're just playing with the odds. So, are you someone that's a big gambler or not?
I hear ya.
I want not to be. And,
Yeah.
and it's not just like, okay, well, eventually, I might get, some kind of disease or, age faster or whatever. Right now, I want to be the very best I can be.
Okay.
So why not want that?
And that's all I want to know. That's all. That's what I'm getting at.
So absolutely, you change, how you show up in the world now, but you also, stack the cards in your favor so that nothing bad happens.
Okay.
And that the aging process, there's so much in the longevity space that's now, able to push lifespan further than we ever thought possible.
A lot.
So that part's really cool. But I really think that, doing everything right now only adds to the better trajectory of you being here, not only longer, but more productive, more happy, more fulfilled while you extend your life. Because what's the point in doing that?
Yeah.
Benjamin Franklin has a phrase, some people die at 25, they're just not buried until 75. And so if you're someone,
true.
if you're someone
really
just
true.
like, oh yeah, I want anti-aging, do this and that, are you just extending the years you are buried if you forget about living a beautiful life? And so that's what
Okay.
that's about.
All right. That makes a lot of sense.
And what would you say to my friend that's has not had sex for 6 years? I feel like sex is so important for like our health and longevity and
Absolutely.
connection.
Absolutely. So sex is good for your immune system. It actually increases IgA, which is a antibody that's a very important antibody against infection. It also increases natural killer cells, which is also great for immunity. It increases something called BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So, it's like, miracle grow for your brain. So you want to be more creative. You want to remember better. You want to be, you want to, get into flow better. Having sex increases BDNF, which is great for the brain. It is great for your cardiovascular system, obviously.
Right.
And so, yeah, having, sex is really important. So they actually did a study comparing people who had sex 3 to 4 times a week to having sex just 1 time a week, and the people that, had more sex were definitely had less disease and they were living longer. So it is great for your health. So why is that person not having sex for,
She's just not dating.
Oh, okay.
So, and now she says she's asexual, and I'm like, you're not asexual. Like, stop, get out of the space. And she's like, I'm having sex with myself. I'm like, it's not the same. Like, you need that like human interaction and connection.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
she disagrees.
I mean,
And
that-
she's hot. She
Yeah,
could
she
have
is.
sex with whoever she wants.
Yeah. No, yeah, certainly having it with the other person increases oxytocin, which you will not get when you having sex by yourself.
See, she needs to get back on the horse.
You hear that? You hear that, girl?
She needs to get back on the horse. Travis, I know you're doing just fine over there, so we're not going to.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh my God.
Travis is 150 years old.
Travis.
Yeah, I'm actually, the youthful glow is from all the
Yeah,
action.
what's the saying in wisdom? He's well above his years in wisdom, that's for sure. So, yeah, I like the fact that you, when adding all the layers, especially when it comes to laughter and just being the energy. Like once again, like I want to talk more about the energy factor. So, someone who is more closed off and things like that. What do you think the start of it for them? It's if they're closed off, do you feel like there's well, I guess there's stress issues, things going on with them, at that case, because we've met a lot of people out in the world. They're just like, God, they just have nothing. I want something from this person and they just don't have it. So I'm wondering how they can get out there and put themselves more out there. What do you suggest on that?
Well, one,
But they seem to be good in their own space.
That's
so
the other
It's
thing,
kind
too.
of like our issue.
we certainly
Well,
have
that's
introverts
true.
and extroverts.
Okay.
And are they truly happy being, being sort of maybe perceived as more closed off to a
Right.
person who's more extroverted? But if they're truly happy kind of being in that space, that's all good.
Let
Yeah.
them be.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm just being selfish.
Yeah.
I just want
You
everybody to be
are.
happy.
We're trying to
I mean,
push
no,
the
not
way
saying
we
that they're
are
not
onto
happy.
them.
I know that they're happy. I just want
Yeah.
more just like,
Come
Oh
on.
yeah.
So-
That's imposing our own
Right.
kind of personality. on
Right.
them,
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, all right. Well, I want to impose people.
You jerk.
Sorry, guys. I want more love in the world. That's all. I just want more love in the world. All right, so Kien, what else do you have going on with you right now? I know you're here. You're on this little tour and everything like that as well. What else is going on? What do you see in your future coming up? And short future, by the way. When
Short future. Well, I mean, for people who are listening out there, I really want to become, basically the next version of a Dr. Oz, right? I want to use basically, he's running for office right now, I believe,
right.
and the Dr. Oz show is off. So there's
There's a-
missing a
there's a
doctor
space.
personality in the
Yep.
media space.
Yeah.
And so, why do I think so? Or why do I want to do this? Well, one, as a kid, I always wanted to do more media and entertainment. I mean, I was always like inspired by Robin Williams, Tony Robbins, but like back then, I look at the TV, you have caricatures of Mickey Rooney doing like a really like nasty Asian face, or you needed to know martial arts, and I didn't know any martial arts. So, but I think the world's starting to open up now, and I feel like sometimes when if you need to hear a message, it's always better to hear it with like a spoonful of sugar. Well, not really sugar. I mean, bad for you guys, sugar. But media and entertainment allows people to kind of, bring down their limbic system to take on information. And, if you're living in the matrix, maybe you need somebody in the matrix to kind of wake you up from it.
Right.
So
I think it's a great space for you. I could see
thanks.
that.
Yeah,
100%,
I do too.
100%. Yeah, you have the personality, you have the knowledge, you have it all. You got it going on, man. I
Yeah,
told
we
you
need
that.
to get this guy on
Yeah.
a show.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
I have no doubt that
airwaves, are you listening? Universe,
no
are you
doubt.
Let's put it
listening?
out there.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a guest on. Eventually, she talks about psychic powers and like manifestation. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. So that you just have to. I know you put your affirmations out there in the world.
No,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it's that energy. When you're just vibing to whatever you're meant to vibe at, things are just going to start, coming to you.
Yeah.
They do flow.
Instead
like
of chasing it.
abundance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're a go-getter, and I appreciate that. All right, so we are going to, guys, we have Dr. Kien Vuu on our show. We're going to get into our question of the day, sir. So you get to
Ooh,
answer a
all right.
question. We put you in some more of the hot seat for you here. All right, so here's our question. Jamie and Christopher, longtime listener and just love the show content. Thank you for making my Tuesdays exciting. So I'm a single father in my 30s with an 8-year-old daughter. Haven't been in a relationship in over 2 years, focusing on my kid. I finally feel like I'm in a place to where I'm ready to start looking for a partner. It's been a while, and after a crazy divorce and raising my daughter, I'm definitely rusty and need to shake off that dust. I don't even know where to begin. My friends think I should get on all the dating apps, but that's like trying to find a new series to watch on Netflix. Any advice on how to slowly acclimate myself back into the scene?
Okay, so I would approach this in one of two ways. One, it's so important to, have a good idea what you're looking for. right? And not just, let things, come to chance. Like, no, I want this kind of woman. I want a woman with this kind of values and go with my kids and things like that. And if you know that, it's going to make things a lot easier. Having said that, sometimes sometimes you just don't know. Right. And in that situation, rather than sitting around and like, oh, what am I going to do? I think once you get out there, after every date or encounter, ask yourself what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, and then pretty soon you'll start to kind of list down. You'll know what's going to be right for you and what's going to be right for your family, because this person, not only has to find somebody that's going to be good for him,
right?
But, good for him means, okay, there's another human being that's in the scene, and so. And just going out there and trying things out, just like somebody looking for a job, you just got to go out there and do it sometimes.
That's the right answer.
But ultimately knowing what you want and not saying yes to somebody that hasn't met those criteria just because you have a heart on the first time you see her.
Right. That's very important. All right, what do you say on this one, Jamie?
I like knowing, like going into it, knowing what you want. So maybe creating like a list of things that 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 you're looking for in a partner and your non-negotiables. So I think knowing what your non-negotiables are, especially as a single parent, is key. So I did know what my non-negotiables were once I did start dating. And then I think just immersing yourself in areas that you're comfortable and you love. So if that's hiking, then getting out there and hiking. Right. That way the chances of meeting someone that has like interests are greater for you.
Right. Those are both good answers. Yeah, so I agree with both these guys. So first of all, like I said, just give yourself like a template of what you're looking for. And like Jamie and Doctor said, you need to get out there. Just get out there, start experiencing life again. Don't go necessarily looking for it per se, but just get yourself back out into the groove of doing things. And if that doesn't work, and I like the fact that you both said make a list, make out your criteria of what you're looking for. And if that doesn't help, get help with that by seeing a matchmaker. I think that's a good answer because if you don't have the time and the efforts to do it, go see a matchmaker. They can fill in all those blanks for you, and set up the dates and everything for you. So I think you'll find someone pretty soon because it sounds like you're a great dad. You're raising your own kid on your own. That's a lot to do. I couldn't do it. I could do it actually, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Yeah. I think we all can do it. So, all right. Dr. Vuu, what else do we have going on with you? You want to plug anything right now?
Yeah. Where can we find you? Where can our listeners pick up this book?
All over social media, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, at Kien Vuu, MD, KIENVUU, MD. You could find my course if you want to dive in a little bit more on the course. It's at kienvuu.com/accelerator. And then you could use the coupon code podcast25 to get 25% off.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. All right.
And then your book, can we get it on Amazon? Where can we get your book?
Yeah, get the book on Amazon. And if you want to just dive right in before, you wait that day or two for it to come, go to thrivestatebook.com. Put your email in there. We'll send you the first 3 chapters.
Oh, that's great.
I love that.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And guys, once again, check out his Instagram stuff and his TikTok. His reels are amazing. You will see his personality just come to life when he's telling you about all this amazing information. Just great stuff all the time. So I'm a big fan.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, Jamie, what do you have going on?
Not much. You guys can find me on Instagram, Jamie_.Villamore. Or no, Jamie. _Villamore. And then shout out to Howitzer. Thank you so much for the amazing gear that you continually send us.
I love that. All right, guys, and I'm going to give a shout out to Younger World Med Spa back in Los Angeles area. And you can find us at Dating Intelligence on any social media. And my personal is at Fetch Sport. So this has been an amazing show. Kien, thank you for joining the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Dr. V, thank you so much.
Yeah, especially when you get your television deal. We're super excited for that. We're going to put all that out there for you. All right, guys, another great episode today. And thank you for listening and watching. And we will see you next time.